welcome to Silvia Biagioni and Andrea Laudante, who are now both in Italy, and they are co-authors of the film Battlefield. Welcome, guys, and so let me start. First, I would like to tell that the film was very intriguing for me, also thematic-wise, because I'm happy that we have this topic of women and the second wave of feminism present in our program, and so you focused on the movement that was in 1960s and 70s when women were fighting for especially for the rights to decide about their own bodies and to decide on their own. And you worked with quite unique archival footage. And I would like to first ask you about the development of the film, about the phase that preceded making the film, when you were researching in the archive and you were looking for the appropriate images that you wanted to use in your film. So could you describe this phase that was before you entered the editing room and started the work with the pictures, with the footage? So how was the research in the archive? What kind of images you were looking for? How long did you spend in the archive? Please, Silvia.
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, cool. So
yes.
Well, thank you for having us here, first of all, and yeah. The way the film was born is a bit specific, because we both joined the archive itself for an art residency. The archive is called AMOD, AAMOD, and it's the archive of the working class movement in Italy. It's an archive that is focused mainly on social rights and human rights issues in Italy and in the world, and so it was. It's a very unique kind of footage that is produced not only by traditional media, but also by communities. So many of the footage that we managed to use was self-shot by feminist movements within the collectives and from, I don't know, art groups and theaters and things like that. So we had basically two different sources within the archive. One was self-shot and self-produced archive, and the other was films made about the movement, which is like demonstrations and films about women in general terms. But yeah, so when we met at the archive, my idea was to make a film about second wave feminism and the representation of women in this period, so between the 60s and the 70s. And it didn't take very long. We actually did the entire film in 1 month, working really hard for a couple of weeks and then working alone. So it didn't take very long. There was, and also the research was, we watched a lot of footage, but yeah, we had great access basically to very, very good material.
And to tell me the films in the archive. It's really a unique archive as you are describing it. The footage there, the films there, are they on film stock or are they digitized? How could you research the material? Did you have some digital materials digitized?
Yeah, everything is digital there because they've been digitalizing things during over the last 20 years probably. So some of the films were on Betacams, but everything was available, even though in a very low definition as a digital file. And most of it is actually available on YouTube on their channel, so you can actually access it really easily. And that really made things very, very simple for us. Because obviously, yeah, it would have been very different if we had to access actually film.
The film prints, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And when you were going through the lots of the footage, were you looking for specific kind of images? So did you have in your imagination, did you have concept of the film, what kind of images you want to have there? Or was it the opposite way, that you were watching the materials and it showed you, it offered you certain images that then you decide these ones I should use for the film?
Well, I think it's definitely the second you said, because that's the way I usually work, not only with archives, but also with footage, with like short films, with documentary. I'm a documentary editor, and that's the way I usually work. I watch what I have, what especially with the archive. I think it's quite important to be led by the archive and not to impose something on the archive. It's good to I'm very happy that we had the opportunity to work creatively with the archive, but at the same time, I tend not to go into it with a specific idea that it might not be there in the first place.
I understand. I see. Okay, so before I ask you a question about how the film looks like as a result, I would like to ask Andrea, because Silvia is a filmmaker, a documentary filmmaker. Andrea, you are a composer. And you compose music, or you work with different kinds of the sound. Were you part of the research in the archive, or did you come to the creative process later?
We start the residence together, and I met Silvia at the beginning of the residence in between January and March. And so we didn't know each other, and when we met, she talked to me about her idea to work with her idea, and when we start working, we made a couple of tests, she with the images and with sound, and then we tried to looking for a way to construct the movie and the project. So all the research was made together to beginnings until the end.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's very interesting. So Silvia, the film has several parts in several parts in the way how the images are arranged. Also within one frame, there are parts where two images are parallelly one by another. There are parts where there is only one image emphasized in the middle of the screen, and they all of them carry some message, some motif that was probably important for you to communicate in connection with this second wave feminism. So could you tell me how the process in the editing room or the process of the post-production, how did you think about it? How did you think about the structure of the film? And why did you decide to use the two parallel images in one part and another approach in another part? Please, Andrea, could you turn off your microphone?
Yes, sorry.
Thank you. Silvia?
Okay, so well, first of all, we worked on this film in a very kind of natural way, so quite intuitive, let's say. At the very beginning, we started basically from the beginning of the film, and the idea there was to identify sounds and images and kind of use the image to visualize sound. Oh, something fell behind you. Sorry. Yeah, so that was the very first attempt at it, let's say. And once I realized that worked, I also found that was a really good way to represent some sort of fragmentation in the image, in the images that we were seeing. So in the first part of the film, you never see an entire person. You just see like parts of a person. You would see a foot or a leg, or like an eye, or some sort of wider shots, but never really complete. You never have the idea that the image you're seeing is a complete one. And so in that sense, the split screen always like carried this meaning of a conflict and of like not being able to have a complete picture in front of you. While in the second part of the film, the screen is wider and the approach is less fragmented. It's more it's more like a documentary. You don't have so many cuts, and also the music it's wider in a way, so it's not so so fragmented. So yeah, that's basically the idea behind that.
I see. That's quite a comprehensible concept. I understand, and one of the ideas that I really very much appreciated in the film was, and I think that it was made present also in the commentary, where there was written, just a paraphrase. So somebody is writing about me, or it is written about me, but I am not the one who is writing. So it seemed to me that one of the important motives were that there are many places or situations when when something is decided about women, but they are missing in this process. So the decisions are about them, but they are not part of the decision-making process. So I felt that it was also present in the composition of the images and of the concept and flow that you now described. So I will now ask Andrea, who is author of the sound design or the music. There are parts that are more like ambient, and then there are parts that are more like concrete. So could you also, similarly to Silvia, say how did you, what was your thinking process about the sound design and about the music? What should it represent in connection with the images and the topic?
Yes, sure. So, as I say, the basic idea of the process of the composing is the idea of loop. So in the first part, all the piano track is fragmented and is looped. So there are so many notes, so single notes, and they work as a loop. And all the images are connected to every single notes and every single sound. And for all this, the first part, this is the language of the film. So music and sound and images are melting together. And for all the sounds that are concrete and are like ambient sound, were directly from the archive. So where we're seeing the clips from the archive, we also listening to its original sound, and all the sound that you can hear that it's not musical sound comes from the archive, and it is processed, it is worked, and then melted with musical sound. So for all the project, we always thinking image and sound together, and this is how the film works, basically.
Thank you. That it was really a very very nice and comprehensible explanation, and now I see even more how the sound and image corresponds, and I really like very much that the sound is not illustrative, but still it has a very direct connection with the certain images. That's and it is really beautiful, as you were talking about the fragmentation, and also Silvia was talking about the fragmentation. That was a strategy in the first part of the film. So it's really beautiful to see how really thought through the whole structure of the film is. So thank you very much. I will just ask our attendees if anybody of you has some question. Nobody is raising hand. So Silvia and Andrea, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your film and for being here with us.
Thank you so much.
And now
thank you, it's been a pleasure. Bye.
I'm so happy. So take care.